and welcome to the program Standpoint on the largest TV station in Africa, NTA. And then today we shall be looking at medical tourism. I am Ngozi Imokwede. Let's take the profile of my guest and we'll be right back.
Dr. Victor Azubike Osiatuma assumed the role of Chief Medical Director at the Federal Medical Center, Asaba, inheriting an under-resourced facility. He focused on building a hospital founded on compassion, competence, and world-class care. Under his leadership, FMC Asaba underwent a dramatic transformation. The dialysis unit he established has saved countless lives, and partnerships with international health bodies and Nigerian medical colleges made it a training ground for future specialists. Dr. Osiatuma's leadership was acknowledged by national health bodies, professional associations, and the Federal Ministry of Health. His transformational legacy as a physician, leader, and reformer will endure for generations. The hospital's transformation under Dr. Osiatuma's leadership has had a lasting impact on healthcare in the region, providing life-saving care and training opportunities. I present to you Dr. Victor Osiatuma, Chief Medical Director, FMC Asaba.
Welcome back to the program Standpoint. You just watched the profile of Dr. Victor Azubike Osiatuma, the Chief Medical Director of Federal Medical Center Asaba. Welcome to Standpoint.
Thank you so much.
It's your second visit.
Thank
you. Let's look at medical tourism.
Okay.
What do we stand to gain as a country?
Well, medical tourism is people migrating from their primary area of concern to another place, sometimes out of the country, to seek medical attention. It had become common in Nigeria, a lot of people wanting to get medical attention outside the shores of this country for one reason or the other. Mainly because they feel that the expertise was not there, or that the equipment was not there to give them the service they needed. But I dare say that in the last 4 years, particularly after COVID, we have started to match those challenges that were making people go outside of the country. The government has started to pay attention to the health sector. We now have well-equipped intensive care units. We now have specialists well-equipped to carry their function, neurosurgeons. Before now, if you want to have neurosurgery done, you have to go as far as Ibadan or Lut. That's where you could have those services done. But now, right here in Asaba, you can have a brain tumor removed successfully. We have done several. You need to do a spine surgery. You can have it done successfully in Asaba. These are things that are taking people to India, to UK, and to America. If you want to do things like hip and knee replacement surgeries, these are surgeries that you need intervention, implants, and all that. They felt even though we had trained manpower who could do it, we didn't have the equipment to do them.
That was before now.
That was before now. So people were going outside the country. But now they can all be done in the country. Right here in Asaba, you don't even need to go far. Here in Asaba, you can have your hip and your knee replaced at a very minimal cost. You can imagine doing that for less than 2 million naira as against going to India and spending over $10,000. So you can imagine the effect it had on our foreign exchange. It had a lot of effect on our country. There was capital flights. People were taking foreign exchange out of this country for medical tourism. Now you can only go abroad because it's your choice, not because those services are not available in the country.
Okay, let's look at medical tourism in terms of the doctors leaving the country. After being trained here in this country, they move over to other developed countries that they are going in for a greener pasture. Most of them, they get there, they don't even continue their profession anymore. So what effect does that have in our economy, this Japa syndrome?
Well, Japa syndrome is health workers, particularly in this case, migrating out of the country, going to foreign land, simply because they feel the pay is better. And because our currency got devalued, they earn equivalent sum here. When they convert it, it becomes a lot of money. But again, they have forgotten that they're going to spend that money in foreign currency. So at the end of the day, somehow it almost balances out. But the truth of the matter is that they are not now living because they don't have an environment to practice. They're not leaving because they don't have the equipment to practice. They're not leaving simply because of economic gains, that they feel they will earn more money. The government started looking at the reverse aspect of that Japa syndrome. Now people are leaving. What government has instructed us to do is to increase production, see how we can stimulate and produce more people to replace those that are leaving so that the system does not suffer. That we are doing perfectly well. In the Federal Medical Center, for example, we have postgraduate training running in almost all the departments, subspecialties of medicine. And we are producing consultants. So all my consultants who left for abroad, we have replaced seamlessly.
You mean it?
Yes, we replace them with all those we trained from the system.
Because there is this report that the best hands have left.
Yes, you may not be able to replace experience, but you see, the man who is experienced today started from somewhere. He acquired experience over time. So they are acquiring experience. So we replace them because we have a training program that is producing enough for us. So those that have left the country, we are now looking at the reverse Japa syndrome now. They are now earning foreign exchange and repatriating to the country. So instead of us, capital flight, taking foreign exchange out of the country, they're not earning foreign exchange and bringing it into the country. That's the way we are now viewing it. So what government has done is to create an environment for us to be able to train more hands. So that even when some leave, the system does not suffer.
Okay, there's replacement.
Yes.
Okay, you are going to be stepping aside soon as the Chief Medical Director of Federal Medical Center, a position you have held for 8 years, if I'm right, since 2017. Tell us some of your achievements. How was Federal Medical Center before now?
Okay, Federal Medical Center...
Federal Medical Center, Asaba. How was it before now?
The tertiary hospital that started from the old Asaba General Hospital. It started in August 1998. And like an old general hospital, had challenge. One, infrastructure, manpower, space, and all of that. So when my predecessors started initially, they had to grapple with manpower, got some staff, and since then they've been building on it. And in health, the manpower is not just there for grabs.
No.
If you want a neurosurgeon, you can't pick one on the street. If you want a radiologist, you can't find one. So the hospital started to train its own manpower. I was a beneficiary. Hospital sent me out for postgraduate training. I came back and I joined. So that was a place they started from, to build his own manpower base. Secondly, they started looking for how to build infrastructure and to get modern equipment. For a tertiary hospital, you need to do those things, services that you cannot get in your regular general hospitals. And so began to think of equipping our theaters beyond what they were before, employing more specialists. Not just saying before in general, we just say, I have a general surgeon, he does everything. But now you have subspecialists as a tertiary hospital. You need to have a pediatric surgeon, an ENT surgeon, a neurosurgeon, a urologist. You have surgeons for different aspects. So we began to deepen those subspecialties. When I took over in 2015, we had about 50 consultants, meaning that we didn't have specialists in all these needed subspecialties. So it was an area we had to look at. We had started postgraduate training some of the specialties, but many others we were not. So we began to attract people. We started sending out people for training. We trained neurosurgeons, we trained urologists, we trained spine surgeons and all that. They came back, we set them up, and even began to do trainings for people.
Those 50 surgeons that you had, you sent them out for training. Did all of them eventually come back?
Quite a number. More than 70% of them returned. And so they formed the core of our consultants. So we used them to start equipping, training others to get to the number we are now. Today we're about 105 consultants. Irrespective of the number that left, we still have a very good number with which we can run a hospital. And then secondly, we got to a point where as you grew, you started having interprofessional squabbles.
Meaning, what does that stand to?
Between the doctors, the non-doctors, they begin to have this rivalry. Everybody wanted to end as the doctor. Whatever you give to the doctor, the others wanted the same. Whatever treatment you give to the doctor. So all of that needed to be sorted out, and it led to a lot of agitation. It led to unrest. FMC got to a point where it was known for strikes.
Yeah.
In the past. It was got to a point where every 3 months the FMC is closed. Either the resident doctors were on strike or the joint health sector or the nurses or something. So when I took over, the hospital was on strike. The day I took over power, the hospital was on strike, and so that was the first thing I had to do to get the workers back to duty. And then gradually we started to resolve the issues. Started to talk to ourselves, talk to the unit. In the last 8 years, I can tell you that we cannot remember when we had a local strike. All of the strikes we had were mainly national strikes, meaning we've been able to bring peace to the place, get the different professional groups to work together. That was the first achievement. And then after you do that, the next thing is you now want to develop the place. You cannot develop in an atmosphere of rancor.
Okay. So we'll come back to the development of FMC. Let's take this break. We shall be back.
Standpoint is an incisive and impactful program that gives an overview on how personalities shape the society. Join us every Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on NTA Asaba, the station that adds value to society. It is hot, frank and engaging. Standpoint, standing for stardom.
Welcome back. The program is still Standpoint, and my guest is Dr. Victor Osiatuma. He's telling us how he came into power in 2015. I became the Chief Medical Director at FMC. His contributions from that day till date. You're telling us about that before now there used to be a lot of strikes between the different sectors in that hospital. So, but today we no longer hear such. So, tell us some of the things you did.
Okay. So, after creating that atmosphere for meaningful development to take place, the next thing was to look at our space challenge. We had space challenge. So, even if you get in all the surgeons, where would they do the surgeries? Where would they run the clinics? So, we had to start looking at infrastructure. How do we expand our theater facilities? How do we expand our clinic space? How do we expand the office spaces we had? And so we took off by doing a master plan for the hospital and knew what our immediate priorities were. Our immediate priorities were to get in specialists and begin to train the younger ones. We knew that one way you could improve the quality of care is by training and retraining. And so we decided to expand our training programs. So we got all the internship programs running. We do internship in nursing, we do internship in optometry, in addition to the ones that were existing before: physiotherapy, pharmacy, radiography, and medical lab sciences. And then, of course, the house officers. So we did that and then started postgraduate training for doctors. We had started a few before, but we now expanded them. In fact, apart from the laboratory sciences now, almost every subspecialty in medicine we do postgraduate training. And that's why we're able to replace all those who were leaving. But we're training.
Okay, training and retraining.
Yes, and I did tell you that our training program is one of the most successful in the country. Our pass rate, 90-100% when we feed people for exam. These are external exams that are done to rate all the residents being trained across the West African sub-region, not just in Nigeria. Okay. And our residents go there and they excel. So our training program has been a huge success. We're able to produce doctors and other category of workers. In addition, we looked at the training of other health workers. We started a nursing college of Nursing Sciences is in Onichukwu. Then they're 200
but that's just started recently.
Yes, they're 200 level now. So we're doing both basic nursing care and post-basic neonatal care. That's what we have for now. It's a college. So you're going to do an array of other things. Public health nursing, anesthetic nursing, so many others. Okay. And also
let's see some of your challenges. You have trained and retrained. Some have left, some came in. Let's look at some of the challenges. There is this issue of neglect sometimes. Sometimes patients come into the clinic. The people who are supposed to attend to those patients are not up and doing. And sometimes there are misdiagnoses or wrong diagnoses to say. So such doctors or such personnel, what punishments do you sometimes give to them? There was one particular one that was trending one time of a woman who, after giving birth, I think that was in 2017, after giving birth, they lost her. And they said it was a particular consultant who was supposed to supervise the delivery, but out of neglect, he just felt he just left her and she died. The case later on, we heard they went to court, they came back, his license was seized and all that. We still hear cases of that, though not in the increase. So for such cases, what have been the punishments?
Okay, let me use this opportunity to probably enlighten our viewers a little bit on how a tertiary hospital runs. Most times the misunderstanding of the system that causes the problem. You know, a tertiary hospital is a referral center. Okay. What it means is that you don't just walk in and get care like you do in a general hospital. If you come in for the first time, you don't have a referral letter, you go to the general outpatient.
Okay, the GOPD.
GOPD. The doctor sees you, sorts out your case, and refers you to the appropriate specialist who will see you. The second category is that you could get a referral letter from a general hospital or wherever, directing you or referring you to a particular specialist. And then you come, they look at the letter, and they give you an appointment for that appropriate date of that clinic. You know, people don't understand it. So you walk in, you want to get care, and they ask you the protocol. Go here, and one day you see that you have not seen a doctor, but you're going through protocols. Some get very impatient, and they walk away and they say, oh, when they don't want to attend to it, the attitude is bad. That is one problem. Secondly, when you also get into the system, being a tertiary hospital, we don't just grab people and start treating them. We do a lot of investigation. Because in medical practice, you only treat what you have diagnosed. You treat an ailment. You don't just come and say, oh, this person is sick, mastering activity, and give them this, give them that. No. So it may take you a week being in the hospital and just being investigated and no treatment has commenced. And as far as they're concerned, nothing is being done.
And who is paying the bill when you stay there for 1 week?
You pay. It's part of your management. Investigating you to make a diagnosis is part of the management. So they need to understand how it goes. You don't just come and say you have anemia and we start giving you blood. No. We need to find out what is the cause of the anemia. If we don't find out the cause and address it, if we give you blood, you are going to return in another 1 week. So we will take our time to investigate you and get to that area. Well, medical negligence, I'll tell you, in any part of the world, you cannot completely rule it out. But since we've been training and retraining our staff, I can tell you that the issue of medical negligence is reducing to its barest minimum. The one you referred to, the lady that died here, it wasn't a case of misdiagnosis, it wasn't a case of negligence actually. The woman was seen, did her antenatal in the hospital, and she went to labor. She had twin gestation. And then towards her delivery, they noticed she was still a little bit anemic, and they didn't want her to get to term, and they booked her in for surgery. They wanted to deliver her. Delivered her during surgery, they gave her a pint of blood, she tolerated it, and she was on the second pint when she was rolled to the ward. And unfortunately, she reacted to the blood. And that led to her death. But the story out there was that, oh, it was negligence. It wasn't negligence.
Yes, they said it was negligence.
It wasn't negligence. The matter went up to Nigerian Medical and Dental Council.
Yeah.
It wasn't negligence. They did what they needed to do. It was unfortunate she reacted to blood, and that was why she died. But the story out there is different. So that's what I'm saying. Now sometimes the story is not told the way it actually is. So I'm using the opportunity to enlighten our viewers. You see, in a tertiary hospital, there are ways to access care. Please be patient. It may take time, but you get to the root of the matter and you get the appropriate care you need.
Okay.
That's all you need.
You're stepping aside a few days from now. So tell us, what do we see in the next future in terms of development in the health sector? Do you think FMC is making progress?
FMC is a work in progress, and a lot of progress is being made there. You know, in terms of tertiary healthcare, we're happy that Asaba Specialist Hospital came on board. So most of those primary and secondary cases we were handling, a lot of them now go to the general hospitals and go to other places. So we are now focusing on core tertiary practice, tertiary healthcare practice. What that means is that when you have tumors, you have cancers, those are cases of tertiary hospital. When you have, what do you call it? Congenital anomalies, like children are born, some are born without the food, some are born, the genitals did not descend. Yeah. So those are cases of tertiary hospital. The last case we did that made the news was 2 babies that were born with all 3 openings fused together. The anus, the vagina and the ureter all fused into. She just had a common opening. This is a very rare condition that you will have to go abroad to do surgeries or go to our premier hospital, UCH or Blue to do. But you can't believe that was resolved right here in Asaba.
Yeah.
We have pediatric surgeons now. Yes, that was done here successfully. Both of them are living their lives now. They're doing very, very well. That can be done. Those are called tertiary practice. Hip and knee replacement surgeries called tertiary practice. We're doing that now. Neurosurgeons called tertiary practice. When you come to urological surgeries, prostate surgery, minimal access surgeries, called tertiary practice. Okay. Those are the level we are now. I am stepping aside.
Your projection, yeah.
My projection is that the way I have built on the legacy or the template, the foundation laid by my predecessor, I expect that my successor will continue from where we have stopped. We have a trajectory for the hospital. We have done a master plan of a trajectory. If they continue that trajectory, in Federal Medical Center, Asaba, in no distant time, will become a teaching hospital. Teaching hospital means we start training medical students in addition to what we are doing right now. We're already doing tertiary care. The world is beginning to discuss quaternary care service. We're not talking about tertiary. The world is developing quaternary care. What it means is a step above what we're doing at tertiary.
Yeah.
So we are catching up so that we can quickly move to that level where we call the quaternary hospital. The Federal Medical Center is right on course, and in a few years' time, it will be a hospital that everybody can be proud of. We need a place where all Deltans can easily walk in and get whatever care they need. They don't need to go to India.
Yeah, get care. Thank you very much, Dr. Victor Azubike Osiatuma, the Chief Medical Director of Federal Medical Center. He was here before, and he came in again because he will be stepping aside, and there is need for him to clear the air and tell us some of the achievements, his own contributions while he was there. We wish you all the best. It is our prayers that the next time we call you here in this program, that it will be a better appointment, which we know that soon it will come. All we can say from here is congratulations. It's not easy to be the Chief Medical Director.
Thank you.
From here, we say thank you for watching. Thank you for giving us your time. Please keep watching NTA. Good morning.